schedule. All right, let me get that link. Link is there. All right. I tweeted it.
I bet.
Right. So we have made it to episode 13 of the Underhooks podcast. Of course, I am your host, TJ Finley. I'm here with my co-host, Stefan. Stefan, how are things going on your side of the world?
Whew, boy. Work is still killing me, but otherwise doing good, living the life, working out, enjoying some good fights. What about you?
Got to keep the workouts up. Same over here. I'm chilling. I've been working out. I've been getting ready for, I'm going to be in the building for 271. So I've just been getting ready for my trip and getting ready to leave, take care of everything I need to take care of. So by the time I get to Houston on set and I'm there Saturday sitting in my seat, actually, well, I get in on Friday and I'm going to the ceremonial weigh-ins. So I'll be doing that Friday. And then Saturday, I'll be in the building for what is going to be an incredible fight card of UFC 271. And we will cover every part of this card when we get there. Go ahead, say what you're going to say.
If you are in the building, I am fading every single pick of yours. I just want you to know that every single pick is getting faded.
Well, I'm a pick behind. I'm a fight behind in our picks. So if you do fade me on every pick and you cook me, I might be in the dirt. But that's not gonna happen. I'm not cursed. The curse is worn off, so I'm about to be in the building. I'm very excited. This is my first UFC event. I've been to a Bellator event, but this is the Super Bowl. This is the big boy. So I'm very excited to get to Houston and to be there in person and to give y'all a sense of what it feels like in there and what it's looking like in there for a great fight card.
Right, tell people do not sting your picks because it is UFC and the tickets are expensive as hell.
Facts. Please don't sting me my picks because them tickets were nasty. Dana is a nasty individual for those prices. So my seats are not the greatest, but I'm gonna be in the building and I'll be by myself. So I'm about to finesse my way down to the bottom. So get me into at least for the early prelims and the prelims. I'm about to be sitting very close because I ain't nobody gonna be there yet. They have to kick me out the seat once the main card starts, but I'm about to be close.
Man, in the seat that he's not supposed to be, he's gonna call you the N-word 100 times. Bro.
You're gonna hear a fight in the crowd. Just know that's me. Somebody called me a nigga, and the fight is broken out in the crowd. I got a couple news things I'm gonna go through, and then we can recap what turned out to be a pretty good fight night card with the Strickland versus Goose. No, sorry, not Goose. Hermanson. The co-main and the main event were Huff, but the card ended up being pretty good through the card. So we'll go through some stuff, and then we'll get to 271. So let's start with it has been announced that our new season of The Ultimate Fighter will have Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena as the coaches, which obviously means that fight is going to be booked. that rematch is going to be booked. Obviously, as you all know, Pena somehow beat Nunes, and so they'll be rematching. I thought it would be interesting if maybe that fight was at for Amanda's other belt, but it looks like that fight's going to be a rematch for Juliana's belt. So Amanda's going to get another crack at the apple there. The Ultimate Fighter should be fun with those two for sure, especially Pena. Pena is her personality is so crazy and she talks so crazy. She's going to be talking crazy to Amanda, and I just can't wait to see them in person when she's talking to Amanda crazy. I can't wait.
Yeah, and I want to see if she talks crazy to her again. I wonder if it takes the edge off that she's won, if it's going to be any different. For the people who are, new to UFC, or if haven't been in the UFC and you love reality TV, Ultimate Fighter is such a fun watch. We got to see two of the kids from the Ultimate Fighter fight on this
Yep.
previous fight night, which was really cool. But like, it's the one thing that I could even like convince my wife to watch it. She's like, "Oh, it's a reality show." I'm like, "Yeah, come watch this reality show." And really, it's just UFC. But still, you get to see so much of the this time it'd be the ladies' backstories, and you get to see them progress through and the way they grow. So it's really cool TV.
They're gonna have women's flyweights on the show and men's heavyweights. And I want to tell you about one contestant who is I'm definitely going to be rooting for in this show. There's a contestant who's been announced named Bobby Maximus. Bobby Maximus is 43 years old.
That man does
Usually,
not need to be out there, bro.
the Ultimate Fighter is usually about up and coming fighters who have like very little like MMA experience. They might have some amateur fights. Some of them might have a couple pro fights, but it's really for up and comers. So there's all these 20 and 21-year-olds and 24-year-olds in the house. Bobby Maximus is not only 43, he has fought in the UFC before. It's been a while since he's fought in the UFC, but he is going on the Ultimate Fighter as a 43-year-old man. And I just cannot wait. No matter what happens, it's going to be fun. Somebody going to knock his ass out, and it's going to be hilarious. Or he's going to go in there and beat the shit out of all these kids, and that's also going to be hilarious. I'm sure Dana is definitely not rooting for the 43-year-old to win the Ultimate Fighter, but I would love to see it.
Absolutely, but no, that old man is not winning. He is going to be the last person picked. He's fighting the best guy on the other team, and he is getting
He
absolutely
get cooked. We'll be tapped in for the Ultimate Fighter. I cannot wait. I cannot believe there's an almost senior citizen man in the Ultimate Fighter. That doesn't really happen a lot, so I can't wait to see how that plays out. He gonna be so annoyed in the house. Them kids are so crazy, and they be getting drunk. He gonna be annoyed as fuck in the house. I can't wait to see it. What else? Did you notice? Did you see this week that Masvidal has started the slander? He's releasing these videos called "The Real Street Judas," which are videos of Colby Covington, old interviews about Colby talking about how they used to be friends, and then right after that, he'll play something that contradicts what Colby just said. He's been releasing these videos on his Twitter account. They're getting huge numbers of numbers of views because obviously these two dudes used to be very good friends, and now they really hate each other. And they're not just doing this for the fight. They've hated each other for years, and they weren't scheduled to fight at any time over those years. These dudes legitimately hate each other, and so the slander has begun. And I just cannot wait for March. I can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting fight just because of all the drama. We've talked about it several times, how I feel about both of these guys, so I'm not going to rehash it. But the hype around that is going to be elite. You're going to get elite trash talk, so it's going to be fun. I can't wait for that.
Those guys, obviously, like I said, don't like each other. That fight's in March, and it will be very rare where a non-title fight is the main card or is the main fight on a numbered card. That's how big that fight is. Those guys are going to bring in so much money.
Belt back
They're
up.
here. Yep.
Are they? They are going to put the BMF belt up?
Oh, I haven't heard about that. I hope they do. Give me a belt for everything. We can put a belt for every fight in there. I don't care, but I like
the
belts.
Black History Month belt. If Dana did that, dog, I promise you, I'm cutting my TV off. I'd be so pissed.
I'll be pissed as hell. You see, they had during the fight card this week, and they had the hashtag Black History Month at the top. I said, Dana, if you don't get the fuck out my face, bro,
I'm
Dana,
not even looking in
doing.
that hashtag. I know
exactly what you're doing, Dana. I'm not clicking on that hashtag. I'm not doing that. What else I got? Misha Tate, I'm not sure if you knew this. Misha Tate right now is on the current season of Celebrity Big Brother. She's in the Big Brother house right now. And she has said, not in the Big Brother house, but in interviews recently, she wants to fight Valentina Shevchenko, which I would love to see. She's gonna lose, but Valentina Shevchenko keep beating on women that we've never heard of, so it'd be nice to have her beat up on a woman that we know. Let's do it. And Miesha Tate's a star, a former champion. Let's fucking do it. I'm in. Let's put her
what
in there,
other
Valentina.
options do you have?
Who else you gonna fight?
Yeah, I completely agree.
Put her out there. We know Miesha Tate. The lead into the fight would be cool. Miesha Tate's a former champion. Maybe we'll get a good fight out of it, because I'll tell you now, Valentina does not give us good fights, and it's not her fault. All she does is what she's supposed to do: beats the hell out of everybody put across from her, and ain't nobody who can stand up to her. She's nasty. She's completely nasty.
Well, I would like her to fight Caitlyn again, because I feel like Caitlyn has done everything that she can to be like, hey, I've watched everybody else. I just can't beat this person at the pinnacle. But
if Caitlyn comes back and gets another win, she might be in there. I mean, everybody is one fight away from being in there with Valentina at this point. So you go win one fight. You're gonna be in the octagon with Valentina next day.
Also, I've never seen The Big Brother, so I have no clue what the premise of that show is. Like, every time I've seen it, it's just like people in the house and I'm watching them. It's like The Sims from my TV.
That's basically what it is. They can't leave the house, and they have to vote on who leaves every week. So there's always a power struggle in the house. But they don't have like the internet. They don't have any phones in there. They are literally cut off from society. They don't really know what's going on.
That seems awful. Is she training? Like, what is she doing?
So I thought about the same thing. She don't have a fight booked. And they're only it's like a condensed version. It's usually longer, but because it's celebrities, I think it's only like 3 or 4 weeks. So she's probably not training. She's probably doing like cardio and stuff. But I'm maybe she's not training, or maybe she is. Like, she has a lot of downtime. Obviously, the camera's always watching
all damn day.
Yeah, she should literally be training all damn day. Lamar Odom is in the house with her. They can go train together.
No, she is not gonna make it through the drug pool, bro. Who is in the house? That is not good. She is going to get an exposure contact and be out the drug pool, bro.
Oh, my God.
That is awful. That's not a good person to be around.
Lamar Odom is in the house. So Max is healed from his injury. You know that Max was signed up to go fight Volkanovski again for part 3 of the trilogy. And then Max got hurt. Well, Max is healed. So now Max is saying he wants to be the backup fighter for the new booked fight of Volk and Zombie. Sign me up. This can't miss either way. As long as Volk don't get hurt, we're going to get an elite fight either way. I would love to see, like we've said on this podcast, we are excited about Volk Zombie. Even if we know who's going to win, it's going to be fun as fuck. I'm even more excited about Max Volk. So if Zombie, God forbid, gets hurt or can't make the fight for whatever reason, we get Max in there again. I'm here for it. Shouts to Max for wanting to be the backup fighter. He's healed. He's ready. Let's do it, Max.
The only thing I think about that is, like, it wasn't too long ago he announced that he was hurt. So it was like, what was the injury? Like, did they not think he was going to heal this quick? It's kind of weird timing.
It's super weird. It makes me think that there was some other reason. Obviously, Max wants to fight, so it's not like he's trying to get out of the fight. Maybe the timing in his life didn't work and the negotiations got sideways or something. But he wants to be the backup fighter. If he doesn't end up stepping into the octagon on that day, Volk will win, and then he will fight Volk next. So either way, we're going to get to see that fight. So I guess a part of me hopes that this fight with Volk and Zombie stays together, because we're going to get Max and Volk down the line anyway. So you might as well give me the fight that is not going to happen if it doesn't happen now. And I get the other fight later. Paulo Costa says he wants to fight Marvin Vettori again. If you remember, they had a great fight. They just fought. Vettori won. But I thought Costa was supposed to move it to light heavyweight because he keeps missing weight.
I thought he was moving up, so that's weird.
It's not just like that was just out there. Dana said specifically, he's gonna have to move up to light heavyweight.
This division again, So that's really weird.
So I don't know why he's running around talking about fighting Vettori again, and also I don't know why Vettori would take that fight. Why? It just beat you, and it's not like you are like a big name versus like I'm trying to get myself up back to a title shot. I can beat your ass again, but what does that help me? That fight's not going to get booked. Paulo Costa, you're not going to get another shot at Vettori, at least not right now. But I am interested to see who Paulo Costa goes in there with. And we got a lot of movement in that middleweight division, which we'll talk about starting with the last fight card and going into this fight card. So there should be fights out there for both Costa and Vettori soon, even if Vettori is staying at middleweight, which I imagine that is not happening. He must think that's happening.
That's really weird. I saw Vitor. He tweeted something earlier today, and I was like, "Bro, what are you talking
Oh,
about?"
he
Like,
said he
that's
wanted he gonna get another chance against Izzy. He can't make the wake it right, bro. We're tired of hearing from you, Marvin Tory. You said the same thing going into the second fight. It was the same outcome. Like, let's stop, bro. Respectfully, let's stop. You're not going to be Izzy Adesanya. It's not going to happen.
he is 2-0. I mean 0-2 against Izzy. Like nobody wants to see that. But he
You don't
said,
get a trilogy fight by losing the first two fights. That's not how they work.
"Yeah, unless you're Max." But
Unless
and Max, granted, Max won. So one of those in my
facts,
mind.
big facts. We
But he
did.
said Izzy was saying that he was never once in danger in the fight with Jan. And Vittori says the exact same thing. And I'm like, yeah, that first one, you absolutely kind of was in danger, bro. Now, the second fight was awful, I feel like, but
It wasn't great, but I agree that he wasn't in danger. But it also, there was no. He tried to say he had an argument that he won the first fight. That was not true. He damn sure didn't have an argument that he won the second fight. He didn't win either of those fights, and nobody thought that he did. I don't want to hear from nobody who thought that he won either of those fights. It wasn't controversial. You lost both fights. You're not getting a third fight. I'm sorry. But we'll see who's next for Vittori. I got a couple ideas once we get down the agenda here and talk about the middleweights. It looks like Kazmat Chimaev and Gilbert Burns really want to fight each other on April 9th. They're both tweeting about it. The fight is not booked yet. I don't know what the hell's going on with the Chimaev stuff. Every time that somebody comes out and says they want to fight Chimaev and Chimaev gets on Twitter and says, yes, I want to fight you, the UFC is not making these fights. And maybe there are rumors that the fight's about to be booked, but we're already in the middle of February, so I'm getting kind of nervous. But it's time for Kazmat to get back out there. There was a period where we saw him fight like twice in a month. Now we can't see the dude fight for like 7 or 8 months, and he still don't even have anything on the books yet. I don't know what's going on there.
yeah, I think they're holding him for the big July card.
We already got another welterweight superstar, which we will talk about soon. Chimaev is old news, bro. I'm gonna just tell you that right now. Chimaev is yesterday's news.
What?
There is a new man coming for the crown. That's what we call teas in the business, bro. But we'll get there. Here's a weird fight at heavyweight. Alexander Gustafsson is signed on to fight Ben Rothwell on May 21st. And now, if you remember, Alexander Gustafsson has been fighting at lightweight pretty much his whole career. He had 2 amazing fights with John Jones. One of them is probably the greatest fight in UFC history, or one of them, his first fight with John Jones is probably the greatest fight in UFC history. We could be living in an era where we see, in 2022, we see Gustafsson fight at heavyweight, and we also see John Jones fight at heavyweight, which is weird. But I guess as they get older, you want to put weight on. Gustafsson's going to have to put weight on, but he's going to fight Ben Rothwell, who's an absolute scrub. And last time we saw Ben Rothwell out there, he lost his fight in like 45 seconds, and it was disgusting. Ben Rothwell is a bum. Gustafsson is really good, but he's going up to heavyweight. I'm interested to see what it looks like. But he said it doesn't mean he's going to stay at heavyweight. He probably might go back down, but he wants to fight Ben Rothwell. And if they gave me some money to fight Ben Rothwell right now, I'd probably go fight him too. I think I could beat Ben Rothwell in the fight.
Absolutely. I definitely take those odds. I got you. Look, I put Tej plus 400.
I'll take that. So that's a weird fight that's apparently been set up. Kamaru Usman had surgery. He had a ligament to repair. He had a ligament to repair in his hand. And he said he wants to fight on UFC 276, which will be in July for International Fight Week. So it's about what everybody's been saying. That fight with him and Leon Edwards is going to happen around July. And at that point, we will have seen every UFC belt be up for a title shot through July, which is great.
How nasty was that? That like when I woke up this morning, I think that was the first thing I saw was his hand open on Twitter. I was like, bro, what is this?
Yeah, that was disgusting. I didn't need to see that.
No, not at all.
I didn't need to see that. He really doesn't like he's going in there to fight Leon Edwards. That'll happen in July. We're excited for that. But he's on the mend and he'll be back in the lab soon. Okay, we don't have to stay on this for very long. Maybe I should do a couple more fights first, then we'll go to that. Okay. Bellator has announced or is about to announce that they are setting up a rematch with their featherweight champion AJ McKee against not Patricky Pitbull, the other Pitbull, the other whatever the one is that he beat in the first fight. I was at this fight. AJ McKee cooked him. AJ McKee has never lost. AJ McKee is a star. It is sad that he's going to sit in Bellator, but he's going to win this fight again. This was probably the biggest Bellator fight that they've ever made. It was huge. It was a sold-out building. I was there, and they're going to do a rematch for this fight, which is great. And I will be tuned in whenever that fight is announced for sure. AJ
You're going to have to
McKee's a star.
remind me so I can watch it because you know how I feel
will.
about Bellator.
You got to watch AJ McKee, man. He is the only Bellator fighter that I'm like, we drop this dude in the UFC right now. He's going to make a lot of noise. He's a featherweight. He's already been on Twitter going back and forth with Volkanovski a couple times after he won the belt. I would love to see it, AJ. And apparently his contract's coming up, so we'll see what AJ McKay does. Bellator's going to try to keep him, obviously. He's a very big draw for them. Hopefully they lose and he comes to the UFC. Okay, now we can talk about this. So Joe Rogan has been in the news this week. Joe Rogan obviously has one of the most popular podcasts in the world. Also calls UFC fights, and I don't know if he's going to be on 271. Hopefully the UFC is smart enough to see that it's hot around him right now. They don't put him on the broadcast team, but if I had to guess, I bet you Dana put him on the broadcast team specifically because it's hot.
Yeah, I mean, I told my brother, me and him was talking about it. I said, like, in this climate right now, the best business news is sometimes to stick behind that guy because you know the people that are for him are going to support him even more.
Yep.
And that's why I told him, there's no way Spotify is going to cut him off there because now people who are racist are like, oh, yeah, let me check out Joe Rogan and see what he's talking about.
The number's just going to go up.
Yeah. And Dana knows his market. I mean, Dana is not just, trust me, everybody trying to cancel Joe Rogan or whatever they want to term it as, besides probably like me and you and like 13 other black people. We're the only ones watching UFC. We're the only ones upset about this, bro. I promise you, if you were in Houston and you poll every person that walk in, it's going to be like you are against Joe Rogan and then like the other black people you see. It's going to be like one white guy with the other black people. And he's going to be like, yeah, I'm anti-Joe Rogan too, but that's it. They are going to clap for that man when he walks in that arena.
They are. If he's there, I don't know if he's on the announced team. I bet that he is. Just like you just said, I bet you Dan is like, oh, we definitely going to do it now. I'm one of the weird people who like I don't mind Joe Rogan calling fights. Well, I mean, obviously I've known a little bit about Joe Rogan being an asshole. I didn't know he was saying nigga on his podcast more than we say nigga on our podcast. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But Joe Rogan is in some hot water, and you know he might be calling fights this weekend, and it's gonna be weird. But you're right. The UFC, I've seen nothing on MMA Twitter but people supporting him. We really haven't seen anything to the contrary. People defending him because people in MMA love Joe Rogan, but also love being Republicans and conspiracy theorists. So
I want to see what the reaction is to black fighters in him. I don't even know if anybody's been asked about it. I don't know if DC's on the announcing team, but if it's DC and him, I'm just interested.
I want to see what it looks like too. Yeah. If Joe Rogan is the one, usually when he's calling, he's the one that goes into the ring and does the post-fight interviews. Mm-hmm. I want to see how
Kennedy and Brunson. I want to see he don't got nothing to choose from.
Either way, you gotta have to sit next to a nigga. Like, I want to see somebody press him and give him some energy, but you're probably more likely to see these black people give him a handshake and be like, Joe Rogan, I love you. I know you're going through some stuff. I guarantee you at least 4 or 5 fighters, black or not, do the whole I support Joe Rogan. I guarantee you that's coming. They love Joe Rogan. Listen,
if there's betting odds right now, I take Lewis saying something absolutely ridiculous with him in the ring.
That's very true. That's very true.
But it'd be something like he'll support him, but then say something awful too about him. I can see that being his moment.
He'll make a joke about it. It's make a joke about him.
Exactly.
I bet not hear a crack ass saying nigga no more. He gonna say some shit like that. So we don't know if Joe Rogan's doing. I just googled it. I don't think they've announced who's on the broadcast.
Bro, he is 100% there.
I bet you he's going to be there, so that's going to be a thing. All right, let's talk a little bit about. I gotta remind me at the end of this episode. I have a can't miss Super Bowl prop bet that I'm going to give out. That's what I do for the fans of this podcast. I have a can't miss prop bet, but I'm not going to get to it yet. Let's talk a bit about the fight night card we just went through. You had Philip Rowe, who you came on this podcast and said was going to go ahead and get this finish and was going to look good. He got the finish. Jared Gordon also got a finish. These are both in the prelims. They both look great. Big wins for both those dudes. They had the Black History Month with the hashtag right above them as they were beating the hell out of people, and it was very cool to see. even though Dana can go to hell because we know he don't give a shit about Black History Month. But they both got big wins on the prelims. Can we talk about this Almeida kid? Did you see this fight?
I'm trying to think if I saw that fight.
Oh my God. This is the Brazilian kid making his debut.
No, I didn't get to see that one.
You have to go back and watch this. These are the nastiest hammer fists I've ever seen in my life, bro. You could hear them.
I did see that. Yes, because we were talking about it on the little app.
Oh, yes, you did see this. That's right.
So, bro, all right, listen to this. This is terrible advice. I think I said this in the audio app, but like I'm literally driving to the gym. I have ESPN Plus in one hand on my phone, and it's like going through my Bluetooth, and like I'm trying to drive and watch at the same time, and then I hear this like doom doom, and I was like, oh shit, that hit somebody? No, it is these hammer fists coming through my car. Like, bro, he was absolutely destroying him.
That was so violent, bro. That was hammer fist always looked kind of bad. This dude has fists of steel. The sound that it was making was in my head for like 3 days. I could not get it out of my head. Great debut for him. But he didn't have the greatest debut on the card. Chidi Njokowani had his UFC debut. His brother used to be a UFC fighter and last fought in the UFC 7 years ago. In his debut, he knocked the dude out in 15 seconds.
It's so ridiculous.
15 seconds. The second fastest debut in UFC history. He had 28 pro fights. This is his first UFC fight. Comes in and gets a 15-second knockout.
You know how awful that is, though? Like, literally, you were in there no time.
You trained for that long to get knocked out in 15 seconds. Now, you know, I can't fight UFC fighters, okay? I can tell you what I can do. I can survive longer than 15 seconds just by dancing for the first 13 of them.
Bro, 15 seconds, I can get in the ball, and you're going to have to prove it to me that you can just beat the hell out my ribs or something.
You're going to have to show me something. That is 15-second debut. Obviously, a very impressive way to get your debut and to put your name on the map. And we can't wait to see Chidi and Njokowani back in there. And he should be able to go back in there like 2 weeks from now because he literally did not get touched. So as long as he didn't get hurt in camp, he's fresh. Get right back out there. You know, we saw a lot, and I know some of this was because of the pandemic. We saw a lot in 2020 and in 2021. People that we would see fight twice in a month, twice in 6 weeks. And that was kind of how the Chimaev thing started. I want to see a little bit more of that. I know there are a lot of people on the roster. There are guys that are looking for fights and women that are looking for fights that can't get them. When these big prospects are making their debuts and they don't take any damage, I would love to see them get back in there in a month or in 2 months and just get your name out there because there's been so many big debuts. Look how many debuts have we talked about on this podcast? Somebody knocked somebody out in their debut.
And it was like that. It was like that this week or this past week, whatever. A good amount of debuts. So here's the Dana. You steal our ideas. Dana didn't steal our slam ball UFC idea.
That guy he didn't steal it yet.
That's right. So we still, got some potential there to pitch that one. But like, why not have like little events throughout the week too? I mean, I wouldn't care. I would like not a Monday night. That'd be kind of weird. I'm trying to think of a day of the week that I'm not.
A Wednesday night with like 6 fights on it.
Yeah, just like 6.
Real quick. That would be fire.
I mean, why not? I mean, I'm sure ESPN would cover it. You could put it on ESPN. You could throw it on, any other channel, and that would be perfect because you got so many guys. Why not let them fight? Your roster is now bigger than probably ever before. So having these sporadic cards doesn't really get you a lot of exposure with all these guys.
We do have 8. I think that yesterday or Saturday's card was the first of 8 straight. So we have 8 straight cards going forward with no breaks until I think our first break is in early April. But yeah, I would love that. And there's so many. It's so funny. You see people that's like, we haven't seen Rakic fight in like a year and a half. Like he's not hurt. Like, and then there's some people who are just like this one. The lady Lupi Godinez, she fought like 4 times in like a month. Like she just kept fighting. She was just like, I'll just keep coming back. I'm just keep knocking everybody out. I'm just keep coming back. Some of those fights she was going to the decision, and she still was like, I'll be back next week. Like. She was in there for 15 minutes. She's like, no, I'll be back. I'll be back next week, bro. I need this paycheck. I want to see I don't know why that doesn't happen more often. I want to see that happen a little bit more often. When you go win your debut in 15 seconds, I want to run it back. I want to see you in there in 3 weeks and knocking somebody else out. Let's make your name, because Chimaev they knock 2 dudes out in like 3 weeks, and it was like we can't not talk about the guy. He keeps coming back. He keeps fighting. Keep knocking people out. Like, we got to talk about him. I would like to see a little bit more of that. What else I got? Hakeem Dawodu worked hard. He fought a great fight. He got a decision, and he was giving this man body shots from hell. And he said he already lost his last fight. This would have been a second straight loss. And he said after the fight, I was going to retire if I lost this fight. Obviously, it could be big cap. You know, people can say anything after you already win the damn fight. But he said, I've been so frustrated, and he's gone through some injuries. He got some setbacks. So like he's saying he's been so frustrated with it. So it had to feel good to get that win. He looks great. And that's not a dude I want to have punch me in my stomach or my chest. Those body shots so
were
painful.
Awful though. It was absolutely electric body shots. No, thank you. No, I'm not signing up for that at all.
No fucking thank you. There's a fighter that we're supposed to call Sexy Mexi. I'm just gonna say that on this podcast, he will not be called Sexy Mexi.
Absolutely not. We are not calling that man that.
But he won. I think we picked against him. He won. I do not get down with, no disrespect to this guy, but I'm not calling no man no Sexy Mexi. That's not what I'm calling him. That's not me. You want to know who had the best night on Saturday of anybody else in the world? You might have had a good Saturday night. We watched some good fights. Me and you had a pretty good Saturday night. Julian Erosa had a better Saturday night than both of us. Not only did Julian Erosa win his fight against Steven Peterson, which was a great fight, by the way. If y'all have not seen this fight, go watch Julian Erosa and Steven Peterson right now. That's going to be one of the Fight of the Year candidates that we're going to bring up on this podcast at the end of the year. Julian Erosa won his fight. His opponent, Steven Peterson, missed weight. So going into the fight, Erosa already had his fight money and 30% of Steven Peterson's fight money, because that's what happens when you miss weight. You got to forfeit some of your purse. He walks into the fight. They get fight of the night, which is $50K bonus for both guys. But if you miss weight, you're not bonus eligible. So guess who got that money? Julian Erosa got that money. Julian Erosa went in there for a UFC fight and made $100,000. That's not something that most UFC fighters can say. There are legends. There are people who went out there and had Hall of Fame careers that did not make $100,000 for any one of those fights. Julian Erosa made $100,000 on a fight night card. Opening up the main card, he made $100K because the opponent missed weight and he went in there and won the fight. Great for Julian Erosa.
Crazy thing, he was cut from UFC twice too. Twice. He's 4-1 in his third stint with UFC. So how crazy is that?
He looked great, bro. When we previewed it, we got it right that like obviously this dude's gonna be a strike fest. These dudes were trying to take each other's heads off and they wouldn't stop coming forward. This is the second most significant strikes in a flyweight fight. The first one being that Billy Q and Shane Burgos fight from 268. So this is the second most significant strikes in a featherweight fight ever. It was that kind of fight. It was back and forth. Erosa looked great. I was very impressed. He's been impressing me the whole time he's been back in the UFC. This might have been his best performance. He still got to work on the head movement a little bit, but holy shit, this fight was insane.
It was really an amazing fight, and it kind of set the tone. I was like, okay. We talked about this card being either absolutely terrible or really, really good, and I felt like, okay, wow, this card may be special, and then it kind of tapered off.
Around this time, I was like, we're in for a special card because people were getting knocked out all over the place on the prelims, and then we get the Erosa Peterson fight, which kind of like everybody's like, oh my God, like that was insane. And so we thinking we in for a classic night, and we didn't get a classic night, which we'll talk about when we get there. All right. We have to talk about our son.
I know. So sad. Like you need to play like some sad music to start this part of the intro.
I'll put some sad music here. This is when the jazz music stopped. We told y'all on this podcast that our son, Trayshawn Gore, was going to go out there and cook. And he did not cook. He lost the decision to Brian Battle, a.k.a. Pooh Bear. And the reason why he lost is because he had the worst game plan of all time.
That's the thing. It was like, what was your game plan there? Like, go attack.
His game plan was go for one knockout punch.
That's an awful strategy. He's so much better than what he put out there, in my opinion. Now, granted,
he's way better than that.
Battle looked way better. I mean,
Oh
that
my
was
god,
probably his best performance. He looked great physically,
facts, facts.
but I still feel like Gore is so good, and Gore talks so much trash.
He t-
The
Michael
theme of
Bisping
this,
was heated, bro. Michael
I
Bisping
listened
was
to
like,
Bisping. Bisping was talking about it. He was like, this guy kept talking about God wanting to do this and get the God this and everything else. He was like, God is focused on way more than your Saturday night. And he's like, he kept talking all this trash, and yeah, Bisping was absolutely heated. I was too, because it's like they talk trash. They were talking shit after the first
they
round
were talking.
too,
They were talking shit at the fucking and when they were announcing the fight when they was talking shit already. They were talking cash shit. They said,
and then
he said he's gonna win a belt in 2 different divisions. He hasn't even had his debut yet. And I said that's right because my son is out there. He's confident. He talking that talk. He gonna walk the walk when he gets to the ring. And
and
then he
it
got
was
to the
not it.
octagon, and it was not it. I will agree with you that Pooh Bear looked better, and it's crazy to see because this guy went from being picked last in the house, and we've seen his development. And when he fought Urbina, he did get a finish, and he was impressive, but he was more impressive in this fight. He took a couple of big shots. Trayshawn did land a couple of shots, and Trayshawn did win that second round, but he did a good job of mixing in the wrestling. And Trayshawn had very good takedown defense, which I think is why his game plan was so one-sided. He was worried about the takedowns, but he put basically no combinations together, and he was not just trying to touch him and leave. He was trying to knock him out, and he landed a couple shots. Pooh Bear weathered the storm and got a workmanlike decision, and I was very impressed with the guy. I was extremely impressed. It's crazy to see him getting that much better in his second UFC fight, but that's also a big deal. He's already been in a UFC fight, and not just UFC fight. He was on a pay-per-view UFC fight. So he's already
Yeah,
kind of felt those bright lights, whereas Trayshawn is really good, but only has, I think, 4 fights in his career up until this. So maybe the moment was a bit big for him, but he'll be back, and he's going to hurt one of them guys when he gets in there next time. He just got to have a better game plan. I hated the game plan. I hate when a fighter goes out there and you see the talent, but you can't go and get a win because your game plan is very bad.
yeah. I don't think it changes any of my thoughts about him and his future. But it was really disappointing the way he came out.
Hopefully he can learn from it, man. He's got to learn the lessons because it wasn't a talent thing at all. You did all the work you had to do going into the fight. The takedown defense was phenomenal, and you knew you had to shore that up. And then your game plan is one hitter quitters. Like, let's go in there and let's throw some combinations. So he'll be better in his next fight. I'm excited to see it, but he did get that loss, and hopefully he learns from it. Let's talk about Sam Alvey.
The cut.
Now, first of all, if my co-host Stefan was going in there with Sam Alvey tomorrow, the line would be minus 180 Stefan and plus 225 Sam Alvey.
That man is so unserious, bro.
Sam Alvey in his last 8 fights has lost 7 of them and had 1 draw. He has not won a fight in 8 fights, which means he ties BJ Penn's record for most fights without a win in UFC history. Consecutive fights without winning.
I think I tweeted from either the account or my account, but it was like I said somebody's gonna fall for this first round, Sam Alvey, but it's not gonna be me. It's like that little what is it? The woman drinking what is it, kombucha or whatever? It's kind of like
Yes.
and it's like nah. This man is unserious. And literally, he hung that first round and then
he did hang in the first round. He landed some shots. He hung in there and
got cooked. That man has got to go be a family man.
Dana, I'm begging you, bro. And look, Sam Alvey's like a big company guy. He fights on short notice a lot, and he always has fighters. Him and his wife literally have fighters living at their house like all the time. So I see that he is a company man, Dana. I see you trying to do the guy solid. It would be better for everybody involved if this doesn't happen. Sam Alvey, after the fight, said, yeah, I'm going to go, take some time off and reflect on some things, and then I'm going to be right back in there. Like, no, Sam Alvey, don't be back in there. Or go to Bellator. Stop fighting in the UFC.
Sam Alvey, did he go to college? Does he have a degree?
I think he does, because he got.
I need that man in the cubicle. I need that man in the office, bro. This ain't it. But this man
in the cubicle.
Maybe even the UFC offices. Like the man could put the man on the social media, let him retweet or something. But bro, do not let that man get back in the ring.
We don't want to see Sam Alvey anymore. Respectfully, we don't. It's getting nasty. He's not just out there fighting in close decisions. He's getting finished in these fights, bro. Dana, chill out, fam. You have 1 million dudes on the roster. These 23 and 24-year-olds are begging you to get opportunities to go make $15K. I know you paying Sam Alvey more than $15K. Stop putting him in there and go pay some of these young kids to go in there. This is getting ridiculous at this point. We don't want to see him anymore. Please stop putting him out there. He's nasty. He's very nasty. You keep doing that. Disgusting. All right. I talked about this on the beginning of the podcast. I don't care about Hazmat Chimaev anymore, bro. The welterweight division needs to worry about my son Shavkat Rakhmonov. He is the new GOAT. Yes, Shavkat Rakhmonov. 15 fights, 15 finishes. He's here.
Kick was nasty.
A wheel kick to the dome that didn't even land clean. That was disgusting. And then the ground and pound, he took Carlton Harris's legs, swept him out the way, and those long-ass arms raining down from the top. It was disgusting. This kid can do everything, bro. He can wrestle, he can grapple, he can strike, and he has the demeanor of me when I walk into the office and I go to the coffee machine to get my coffee. He does not – there are no emotion on his face. If this guy spoke English, he would be a massive star. I need them to put him back in there in 2 weeks like we did Chimaev. We need to get his name out there because there's another welterweight that's coming for the championship, and he will be a champion, and it's Shavkat Rakhmonov. He's coming, bros.
I hate because, like, this is so much egg on my face from the last pod because I was like, and I still feel like it. Harris is very underrated, and I remember
He's
like
good.
highlighting.
He fought a good fight.
Yeah, I was like, Harris has only been finished one time. There's no way. I was like, I think my bet pick was like,
yes.
Take this one going the distance. And I was like, look at this fool on the ground. Got me looking dumb as hell because he got knocked out in the first round, bro. Like, we all thought Rachmaninoff was going to win, but, like, I didn't think it was going to end like that.
That's only the 14th wheel kick knockout in UFC history. That was nasty. If you haven't seen it, go watch the highlights. That kick was disgusting. Don't ever kick me like that. Please, I hope to God I never am kicked like that in my whole life. That was disgusting. Shavkat Rakhmonov, 15-0, 15 finishes. That's how you make yourself a star. You just keep finishing fights and going on to the next fight. The welterweight division is in trouble. I'm sure next we'll see him in there with somebody ranked or maybe on, in that 15 to 20 range, which isn't technically ranked, but like he's going to go on there with a big name. This guy has already beat Cowboy Oliveira and finished him. That is a real fighter who can do real damage to you. And Shavkat Rakhmonov is just looking these guys down. He's fighting great talent. Now he's going to fight great talent that we know about. I can't wait to see his next fight. Nasty, nasty, nasty. And if Chimaev don't get a fight booked soon, he's going to have to go in there on my son Shavkat, and it's going to be real scary for that man. So I think that he should go fight Gilbert Burns and make sure that gets signed, because if Shavkat gets another win, he's going to call you out, and then it's scary hours for you. So go fight Gilbert Burns, and that would be fun. You don't want to step in here with my son Shavkat. You don't want that. Respectfully, you don't want that. Okay, this is where things got really bad. The co-main event, which had Maximoff in it, who is a Nick Diaz Academy person, and also
he's great value Nick Diaz.
Literally, and he even sounds like him. Like it's insane. He can't really box like Diaz. It looked like early Nick Diaz, where he was really just a grappler and he wasn't really a boxer. Maximoff was like, "Oh, I'm coming in here to grapple." And Puma was trying to, obviously he's a striker, so he's trying to knock him out. And Maximoff just did a good job of controlling him with the grappling in a very boring fight. He got the decision, and he's still undefeated. So we will be seeing him again. And it was extremely boring, but he found a way to get the win. And that's what you got to do when you are not the stronger guy in the ring, because Puna was he was throwing lasers. He was trying to end the dude's night. It was nasty.
And that was exactly how we kind of talked about it playing out with Soriano being a much better striker and being better on the feet. Yep. And you could tell with Nick on the ground, and that was just his big thing. That fight was so disappointing. My only takeaway is like literally he is great value Nick Diaz.
He got 11 takedowns in this fight, which ties him for a Marvin Vettori record. Marvin Vettori's also got 11 takedowns. He didn't do a lot with every takedown, but getting taken down like that is exhausting. And you could just see it wearing on the gas tank of his opponent, because you get taken down 11 times, you got to get back up. That shit will drain your gas tank real fast. And so when he did get him down there, he didn't always control him or keep him down there a long time, but getting him down there over and over again really drained the gas tank. It really was enough to get the decision. I was impressed by it, but it was extremely boring. Um, I want to say Maximoff started fighting professionally. He started fighting when he was a kid because he was watching Bruce Lee movies and Jackie Chan movies, and he realized he wanted to be a fighter, which is a great story until you watch the fight. You realize this, like, what do you? Jackie Chan wasn't
Yeah,
grappling.
absolutely
Bruce Lee
nothing
wasn't
that
grappling.
Bro must have had the bootleg version because I've never seen Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee wrestle a man in my life.
Bruce Lee just grapple somebody against the wall for 5 minutes and just control him to get the judge's decision. I've never seen this film. This is one of the movies I've never seen. Now we had the main event, which was Sean Strickland and Jack Hermanson, and it became clear very early on in this fight that Jack Hermanson could not take Sean down, and the fight was basically over. Sean just controlled him with the jab, landed combinations, got in and out, and this fight was absolutely boring.
It was. I mean, Sean talked so much trash about, oh, I want to kill somebody in the ring. I'm a madman. I'm a psycho. And then he goes and fights like the most measured fight I think I've ever seen in my life. Um, you know, Jack, I don't know. I felt like Jack was doing fine, but it was also when he was trying to get his takedowns, he wasn't setting them up. They all felt so half-assed. I think like
Yep.
Michael Bisping said the same thing, where it was just kind of like it wasn't your full out effort, and you really didn't do anything to set them up. You're taking shots for takedowns super far away, and you're in bad spots. And it was just kind of like once that was his game plan and it was out the window, it was kind of over. I think the big thing to take away from that fight was just the amount of significant strikes that he took to the head. It was
Yep.
128 significant strikes to the head. That is insane. And I felt like Jack was doing a good job of setting up the leg kicks. And I always feel like, calf kicks are something that's really good to do, especially setting it up early. But he never really followed up with it with anything else of substance. So
it was especially later on in the fight, I was like, okay, I think we all understand that the way Hermanson wants to win this fight by takedown is not going to happen. Now you're even more tired. Now it's even less likely to happen. So why don't we do you should be going in there trying to strike like a madman, because I agree with you. Strickland really fought conservatively. He got in and got out, touched him with the jab and got out. Like, it's not like he stayed around so they could exchange. And there was, at the end of the fight, they had like an exchange where they finally just stood there and exchanged. And that part was cool. And then after the fight, Sean Strickland says, well, yeah, I fought like a pansy. Like, not that we want you to kill somebody, but that tough talk don't mean shit to me if you were in there fighting a conservative decision, especially when you know the middleweight division is being decided right now. If you go out there and finish Jack Hermanson, which you realize you could do after the first and second round when you realize he wasn't going to take you down, if you go finish him, you have that's 6 fights in a row that you've won. You have a real argument for that next title shot, assuming Izzy doesn't lose. Now, Brunson or Cannonier with a finish or even a really good decision will be ahead of you. Like, you're not going to go get a title shot that way. So I thought it was just weird that he fought that way, given the comments and given the situation, because he knew that was the situation. He literally said, "I need to go finish this guy so I can stake my claim over a title shot." Well, you didn't go finish the guy, and it's not like you gave an all-out effort to go finish the guy. You fought conservatively until the end, literally the last 10 seconds of the fight. Why? You've already you're the better guy. Go finish him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't understand.
I feel like a lot of that maybe also, he's up for that title fight, and I think it was just like not putting myself in a bad situation when I've won. I think that's just all it boils down to.
He definitely won. He definitely dominated the fight. And now his name's going to be in there. He probably won't get the next shot, but with one more win, even if it's not the most impressive win, he's probably in there for a title shot. So he did well to put it together. And that kid his jab is so quick. Much quicker than like his movement would give you inclination that he could move that fast. His jab was on the nose, and Hermanson couldn't see the jab all night. All night he couldn't see that jab, and it was just tearing his face up, just peppering his face. Getting punched in the head 100 plus times in 25 minutes sounds like a very trash evening. So Jack Hermanson got to go back to the drawing board, because that was nasty, bro. You lucky you didn't get to finish. All right, now we're here to talk about the main event. The pay-per-view coming out this weekend, UFC 271 in Houston, Texas. I will be in the building. And we got some great names and some great fights on this card. I want you to look at the prelims and the early prelims and tell me who stands out to you. I'm gonna give you a gem because I've been doing some research. The first fight of the night, the early prelim fight, has a guy named Mike Diamond in it. Mike Diamond is black with a red mohawk.
This
Mike
looks real.
Diamond has
He's fighting against a person that doesn't even have a picture up on UFC, bro.
he's fight. No, he doesn't have a picture. His opponent has a picture because his opponent's fought in the UFC once. So his
Oh
I
yeah,
forgot the
yeah,
guy's
yeah.
name.
It's Jeremiah
Jeremiah
Wells. I've
Wells.
seen Jeremiah Wells fight
Jeremiah
before.
Wells, yes, he won his debut. He knocked somebody out in his debut. He's had one fight in the UFC. Mike Diamond has had no fights in the UFC. He's a kickboxer. He has over 100 kickboxing fights, and he's a training partner of Israel Adesanya. And his highlight tapes are insane. This guy has the nastiest kicks you have ever seen.
Bro, he's not
So
beating Wells. I remember Wells now that I think about it. I don't think he's
Wells is a
beating him
puncher.
now.
He's strong as hell. And Mike Diamond is gonna kick the fuck out of Wells' face, and the fight's gonna be over. I am telling you right now, go find this bet. We are starting off this event with Mike Diamond kicking Jeremiah Wells' head off. We are starting the night like that. The way that this dude kicks is insane. His kicks are so fast, so powerful. You're gonna see Mike Diamond. He's gonna kick this dude's head into the rafters, and I'm going to catch it in my seats, bro. And I got bad seats, so the head has to travel very far for me to catch it. I'm gonna catch it, bro. All right.
I'm not gonna be able to see this fight. I'm going to watch it later because it is Valentine's Day and I have reservations at 5:30. But I'm going to check that out. I may put it on ESPN and just kind of put it down on the side of my seat and peek around a
Make
little
sure
bit.
you get back to it eventually. Mike Diamond making his UFC debut. So y'all check out that on the prelims. We got Roxanne Modafferi is fighting King Casey O'Neill, and Roxanne Modafferi is retiring after this fight. She's already announced it. So she will. This is one of my favorite things about MMA. After the fight is over, win or lose, she will leave her shoes in the ring. That means that you retired. Most fighters don't get a chance to do this because you don't really know when it's your last fight. Then you go out there and get cooked like Sam Alvey, and then you realize it's your last fight. So this is pretty cool that we get to see that this is her last fight. And if you remember a couple years ago, Macy Barber was the new hot, undefeated, up-and-coming thing. And Modafferi went in there and beat her ass. So she's going to be trying to do the same thing to King Casey, who's been really hot lately. Also undefeated, if I'm not mistaken, and has looked great. King Casey should win the fight, but it'll be a very cool moment, win or lose, because we get to see somebody retire. I always love when we get to see that.
So if I was a UFC fighter, I would do it after every fight, just so I can always make sure that
I can
just
make
every
sure
fight
that I
just
win
say
out.
I'm done, and then they be like, "Did you interview?" I'm like, "No, I'll be back in 2 weeks."
I'll be back. I'm already thinking about I'm now gonna call somebody out after I just
call somebody. That would be the craziest shit ever.
So that's on.
Andre Arlovsky out here too.
Yeah, another very old legend on a winning streak. See, the opposite of Sam Alvey, because he's not out there getting cooked. He's out there beating people in fights. He's old as hell. He's been in the UFC forever, and he's back on the card. He's always fun to watch, and he's gonna knock somebody out.
Perfect intro to heavyweight. It's like, all right, let's go let you fight Andre real quick.
Exactly. Welcome to the big leagues. Go fight Andre. You lose, you need to stay at that level. You win, we can put you up in there and get somebody ranked. So that's pretty cool. That's all I got for the prelims in terms of names that stand out. Who else you got?
I don't really see anybody that stands out. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know a lot of these guys. There is another black guy though that has like a yellow mohawk, so I'm gonna put him on my to do. What Fabio Charant?
Yeah, Fabio. Yeah, he got knocked out by one of them really really big dudes. I forgot the guy's name. The biggest William Knight, I think it was, knocked him out crazy. AJ Dobson is black too, I believe, but you don't have a picture up, so we can't confirm that.
Yeah, we don't know. It's to be determined.
I think
his nickname is the Water Buffalo. Never mind, we ain't cheering for that man.
Wait, whose nickname is the Water Buffalo?
Fabio Kid.
That's a horrible nickname. He kind of looks like a water buffalo. He's huge, but that's a horrible nickname. I hate it. I hate that. We got to go back to the lab.
Buffaloes do have like really big heads, all right? So he does have a really big head. So maybe that's stuck. I feel like that's like some black grandma thing. You know, you're like a black grandma gives you like this awful nickname that you have to just stick with.
You just like, I'm stuck with it now.
Like, I'm the water buffalo.
William Knight, who I just mentioned, had knocked out Fabio, is also on this card. He's always fun to watch fight, but he has like a a 2 minute and 30-second gas tank, and he'd be swinging harder than you've ever seen before. And if we get past 2 minutes and 30 seconds, all of a sudden his hands drop and he starts to get cooked. It's fun to watch either way, but William Knight is like the swollest dude you've ever seen. The fact that he makes light heavyweight is insane. This dude is a heavyweight, and he somehow makes light heavyweight, and he still don't got no cardio. That's insane, but he'll be fun. Matt Schnell is fun. He's on there, so we'll
We
get to
have a
see that.
lot of we have a lot of black and ethnic fighters. They ain't really just like,
They're
hey,
doing
for
that shit
Black
on purpose,
History
bro.
Month.
Don't fall for that. Don't you know
It's like
exactly what
Black
that's
History
about?
Month. Let me put all these black people on the card and sprinkle a little bit of ethnic other people's
Dana
on
is
here as
not
well.
slick, bro. We know all your fucking tricks, Dana. All right, we're gonna get into the preview of the main card and get some picks in. So I hope you got your picks ready. Like I said, Stefan is one fight ahead of me in the picks. We're gonna get some picks in for this. Our first fight in the opening of the main card. Y'all know how I feel about this man. My son, Bobby Green, is fighting Nasrat
Bro,
Hakparas.
don't even try that. Yeah.
Nasrat, I'm pretty sure I'm right. Nasrat
I think
Hakparas.
you are because I was listening to it before. I was like, okay, let me make sure I remember this for the pod. Then I looked at it, I said, nah, we ain't gonna go with that.
Bobby Green is a minus 140 favorite, and Nasrat is a plus 120 underdog. This is obviously going to be two people that want to come in and box. If you remember, last time we saw Nasrat, he was fighting Dan Hooker. He actually had some success with Dan Hooker on the boxing, so much so that Dan Hooker started to wrestle, and Dan Hooker got the decision really because he started to wrestle, and Nasrat wasn't ready for that adjustment. These two dudes want to go in there and box and strike. They're both good strikers. Bobby Green is an elite striker, or I should say an elite boxer. He doesn't really kick a lot. And Bobby Green also can wrestle. He doesn't ever do it because he doesn't have to, but this guy can wrestle. Now, last time we saw Nasrat, he was having striking success against Dan Hooker. The last time we saw Bobby Green, or not the last time, but last year, Bobby Green had a close split decision with Rafael Fiziev. Rafael Fiziev is an elite striker. So that just tells you the kind of striking ability that Bobby Green really has. And so I think he's going to be the bigger striker and won't have to wrestle against Nasrat. But if Nasrat does have success on the feet and does hurt Bobby Green, he could always resort to his wrestling. All that to be said, I'm picking Bobby Green in that fight.
I agree. I'm going with Bobby Green as well. They both fought Fiziev really well, if I recall right. I mean, what it was both went to decisions. So I think I give Bobby Green the edge just with his grappling. If it decides to go there, I think he has the edge. I think they're both really good strikers, so I'm going to go with Bobby Green as well.
That's my son. I'm very excited to see him in person. You will be hearing me scream from the rafters when he hits that curtain. I cannot wait to see Bobby Green in person. What a legend, y'all. If you've never seen him fight, he has an amazing fighting style. He's a great boxer. He's very quick. He's very flashy. He's always posing and doing random shit. It's great to watch. So check out Bobby Green, who's been probably having the best run of his career right now. Been very fun to watch. So that'll be a fun fight. The next fight we have is that was a lightweight fight. The Bobby Green fight's at lightweight. The next fight is at bantamweight, the greatest division in the UFC. We got Kyler Phillips, who is a minus 400 favorite, a massive favorite, taking on Marcelo Rojo, who is a plus 300 underdog. There's a reason why Kyler Phillips is that much of a favorite, because he has a lot more experience. He's been in there with killers. Both of these guys are kind of knockout artists, but Rojo also has some submissions as well. But we saw Kyler Phillips beat Song Yadong, and he lost a close decision to Rowland Paiva, that guy that
Yep.
Sugar Sean just beat. But Kyler Phillips is good. He's a fun striker to watch. Meanwhile, Rojo was only have one UFC fight, and he got knocked out by Air Jordan in the second round. So, and also now he fought his first fight. His debut was at featherweight. Now he's at bantamweight, obviously. So he's going up. I haven't seen anything from Rojo to make me think he's going to be able to beat a guy like Kyler Phillips. So I just took Kyler Phillips just based off that.
I completely agree. I mean, Colin Phillips has looked really good in his fights that he's won. So, I mean, well, granted, everybody looks good in a fight that you win. But, I mean, his last fight, I felt like he was really close to Bobby. I don't think it was, anything where it was a.
I also don't. What was I about to say?
I don't.
I don't know what I'm about to say.
Rojo does have really good grappling defense, so it'll be
Hmm.
interesting to see if they get to the ground because I know both are really strikers, but they also are pretty decent on the ground. So I think that'll be kind of fun to see.
I don't know how this got on the main card. I would have probably put this down in the prelims, but Kyler Phillips is fun to watch, and it should be fun. Let's get it. This might be bathroom break time for your boy
Yeah,
because I will be in the
it
building.
is definitely that is the time to
It might
go
be
get you
bathroom
a
break
snack.
time, but I'll catch the fight if it's a banger. I'll catch the fight back on the video, but this might be snack time for your boy. I'm gonna be a little bit high in the building, so I'm gonna need to re up my snacks. So I think that might be bathroom time. I'm already planning bathroom time. That's how I'm an old person. Um, the next fight's at middleweight. Like we said, the middleweight division is really getting some clarity here. And so we got Jared Cannonier, who's the number 3 middleweight in the world, taking on Blonde Brunson, who's the number 4 middleweight in the world. And this is a title. This is a title eliminator. The winner of this fight is probably going to get a title shot, assuming Izzy doesn't lose, and then we have to do a rematch, of course. But if Izzy wins this fight, one of these two dudes is going to be the next to fight Izzy. Brunson's already fought Izzy and lost to Izzy and has won 5 straight fights since then. And he also turned blonde since then. And Blonde Brunson is different. He is actually an underdog in this fight, which I was a little surprised by. Brunson is a plus 145 underdog, and Cannonier is a minus 165 favorite. And you're supposed to be fading my pick, so I'm going to let you pick first anyway.
I am definitely going with Jared Kennedy here. He's looked so good in this recent
Ooh.
fights. I really was impressed with everything he's done. He lost to Whitaker, but I feel like that was a really close fight. And Whitaker is really good. I
And
mean,
Whitaker's elite.
yeah, he absolutely handled Hermanson by knocking him out. I want to say in like the second round.
It was
Um,
nasty.
he fought our goat Silva, which we respect Silva in here, but he was wrong for knocking my man out. Granted, that was a while back. Um, and the most important reason for why I'm going to pick him is his nickname is the Killer Gorilla, and with Groovin Gorilla and
Oh,
all the gorilla hype around here, how can you not? It's the year of the gorilla. It's the month. Well, no, we're not gonna say the month of the gorilla because that's
please don't
racist
say
as hell.
monthly gorilla. That's racist. This is not a Joe
January,
Rogan
February.
podcast.
So absolutely not. But the Killer Gorilla is definitely winning this fight. I think that's my. I feel really good about that pick. Really, really good.
There's only one question that this fight boils down to: Can Cannonier stuff the takedowns? Brunson's a wrestler. Jared Cannonier's takedown defense currently sits at 64%. So Brunson's going to be able to take this man down. Cannonier used to fight at heavyweight. He obviously has massive power, and he's like a massive dude. When you see him hit the ring, he is just a really big dude, really strong. He's going to be trying to land knockout shots. Brunson will neutralize that with the wrestling. He will, you can't. It's just like you just talked about with Hermanson. Your shots have to be set up by your striking. And Brunson, since he's fought Izzy, has really, really learned that I have to strike at least a little bit and defend myself from the striking to lead to my takedowns. And that's what I think he's going to be able to effectively do here with Cannonier, who has been shaky with his takedown defense. I think that Brunson will be able to control him at least, at least 3 of the 5 rounds. I'm really thinking this is by decision. Whatever the odds are with Brunson by decision, because he's already the underdog. So him by decision, put your money on that. That's where I'm putting my money at. I didn't see I couldn't find what it's at, but it's going to be somewhere around plus 300, plus 400. I'm taking Brunson by decision here in a close fight against Kennedy.
And the only thing I think about too is their resume and who they fought. I feel like Cannonier has fought the better fighters. Yeah, Brunson fought Izzy, but then he fought Holland, which again, like bro has the worst takedown defense humanly freaking possible. He is so unserious. Teal. So again, I don't see that there's been anything really impressive with them. I know they're both on really good streaks coming into this
Yep.
fight.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see, but I do think that Kennedy and that power is going to be an equalizer here, and he is a better grappling defender than people will give him credit back for, and better than the people that Bronson has recently fought.
He definitely going to be in the lab working on his takedown defense. This is going to be a close fight. I'm really excited for it. And like we said, that middleweight division is really getting some straightening on this card. We'll know a lot more about the division than we know now. Our co-main event is at heavyweight. The hometown hero, Derek Lewis, when he hits that curtain and turns on the Houston music, it's going to be fucking fire. and he's fighting a guy who might be the second biggest personality in the heavyweight division in Tai Tuivasa. These guys are both crazy. Tai Tuivasa is Australian. He has a thick Australian accent, and he drinks shoeies after he wins and knocks people out. This is going to be fun in the press conference. This is going to be fun in the walk-ins. This is going to be fun for the 25 seconds that this fight lasts for. It's going to be a fun time. Derek Lewis right now is a minus 180 favorite, and Tai Tuivasa is the plus 155 underdog. Who are you taking?
I know who you're taking, so that's what's giving me a pause. But
Fade to pick, bro.
Just to talk about this fight, they're both such awesome guys, you know? Like I really feel like they're so fun. So I hate that somebody's gonna get knocked out in this situation. My concern with Tuivasa is just like even when he fought Hardy, there was a point where he was kind of getting his ass whooped, and then he could just get some one good shot in, which they both have that one shot that can kind of change it. But I feel like Derek Lewis has the better of the equalizer. So
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Lewis just to be smart here. I don't know if there's anything you do. There's no power like he is in the division. Like Francis has great power,
but ain't nothing like the Derek
but I
Lewis.
don't think it's Derek Lewis's power in that one shot. So I think I'm gonna go with Derek Lewis because I just don't. I'll be happy either way. Let's say that I'm gonna enjoy this fight,
Same.
whoever wins. I just hope we all have fun.
We are gonna have fun. Derek Lewis, as obviously last time he fought in Houston was when he fought Gone, and being the main event and your hometown was very stressful for him. At least that's one of the things that he cited and why that he didn't give the performance he wanted to give that night. But Derek Lewis has been in there with the better fighters. He's way more experienced. He's the number 3 heavyweight in the world for a reason. Tai Tuivasa is number 11 heavyweight in the world, but he hasn't been in there with the kind of competition. Derek Lewis has been in there on the opposite side of Francis. And granted, the fight was trash, but Derek Lewis has a win over Francis Ngannou. So, Derek Lewis has been in there with some absolute killers. He is the greatest knockout artist in the history of the UFC, in the history of the heavyweight division. He will knock Tai Tuivasa out, just like my co-host just said. Tai Tuivasa is fun as hell to watch, and Tai Tuivasa has a more diverse. He has different kind of strikes. He throws spinning shit. He has great knees. He has great BJJ. So he has a more diverse array to choose from in his striking. But Derek Lewis has the bigger power, and that one punch is a hell of a punch. And Tai Tuivasa is not known as a defensive stalwart. He takes shots. He's going to get in there and take a shot to land a shot. Except for this time, the shot that he takes is going to be bigger than the shot that he lands, and he's going to get knocked out by Derek Lewis. But we're all going to have a great time. I'm also taking Derek Lewis to right the wrongs and do well by the Houston crowd. And that would be a fun moment for Houston and definitely a fun moment for me. But I'm like Stefan, whoever wins this fight, I'm happy for them because these dudes are both amazing. I love them both. They both have great personalities. So we're going to have a good time either way.
Yeah, and the big thing is Tuivasa can't get into a situation where he's just exchanging with him. You have to. You're not as quick as Gone, but you're gonna have to use that blueprint for him.
Yep. So that'll be cool. That's our co-main event, and our main event is, of course, also at middleweight. The champion of the world, undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Israel Adesanya, is back in action, taking on Robert Whittaker. Of course, Israel Adesanya has never lost a fight at middleweight. Also, Robert Whittaker has never lost a fight at middleweight except for his first fight to Israel Adesanya. This is a rematch, obviously. Whittaker was brutally knocked out in the second round of the first matchup about 3 years ago. He's been beating ass ever since to get right back here. So we're having the second fight. Right now, Izzy is a minus 280 favorite, and Whittaker is a plus 225 underdog. Walk me through this fight.
So, I've talked about this fight several times. I feel like we just touched on it briefly, how I felt. I know me and you have talked, and when we're tweeting and stuff, that, we felt like Whittaker, I felt like it was closer than I thought. But then watching it this week, I was like, damn, maybe it wasn't close. Because, at the end of the first round, Whittaker was on the ropes. And then, as soon as that second round started, it was over. So the only thing I can think of is, and these are some of the points I thought of, Whittaker had a long layoff between that fight. Yeah, he got sick at one point.
Got sick.
It was like a year that he fought. So, we always talk about how hard that is. He looks like a completely different fighter in his fight since the Izzy fight.
Yep.
I think he just looked 100 times better. You brought up the point, which I thought was great, was, I think he underestimated Izzy. He thought that he was the better striker. He thought he could go, in toe-to-toe. He quickly learned that wasn't it. I think the thing is, of course, Whittaker has to incorporate wrestling here. You've
Yes.
seen the game plan against Izzy, what Jan did, so you have to do that. But the thing I thought about, and Michael Bisping talked about this a lot, and I was watching back his fights. Izzy's length does so much for him. It's a
Hmm.
great equalizer. And against these short, stocky guys, Izzy absolutely destroys them. Like Jan is big, and people just think of weight lies. So everybody's like, Jan is big, but he's tall too. Jan
He's
is not
also
a
tall
small.
and lanky.
Yeah,
Yes.
he is a massive human being. It's not just a short, stocky built guy like you would think. Jan is long, so that gave him a little bit of an issue. And Whitaker is very much in the shape of Costa and
Yep.
everyone else that he's fought. Vittori, those guys are those little short. Well, Vittori not as much, but they're those little short bills. So I think Whitaker has to throw him off, and he has to counter him. I don't think you want to get into the point where you're attacking Izzy because he is so
Exactly.
accurate. He is going to touch you whenever he wants to. You got to sit back and kind of let Izzy come to you. And I think that's
Yep.
something that's going to be vital. And then once you get Izzy in those spots, then, take some, shots at a takedown. Not that you get him and, hold him. Michael Bisping was talking about it a lot, like, trying to get him in the middle of the ring and taking him down. Don't take him
Hmm.
down against the
Hmm.
fence
Not against the
because,
fence.
yep, because when you're on against the fence, it's easier to get up. But I think it's just even given the appearance that wrestling is happening. I think that's something that you have to put on Izzy's mind to at least try to be in this and be competitive. But I do think you get to see the absolute different Whitaker. He looked great against Gastelum. I, however, am taking Izzy. If I am betting, I am putting money on Whitaker though.
Got it.
It's just good odds. Why not?
That makes sense. This is Izzy's fourth title defense. In the first fight where Izzy won the title, he won the title off of Whitaker. Whitaker just came forward the entire time, and both times he got knocked down in this fight were because he was counterpunched. Because he's just going and throwing looping stuff, and Izzy is way too talented of a counterpuncher to let you just do that. So I agree that in the striking specifically, he has to not only be more patient, which he has looked like he's been more patient in his subsequent fights. He has to be more patient, but he also has to incorporate the wrestling, just like you just said. He is better in grappling. He's better in his wrestling. His BJJ is better. So like you need to be using that and incorporating that stuff. In the first fight, he didn't even attempt to take down, and there are no clinches in the first fight. It's literally a kickboxing match where Whitaker was just storming forward. And he's come out and said he was very angry about the way that these guys don't like each other. It's not like the biggest beef in the world, but like they don't particularly like each other. So there was some stuff said in the lead up to the fight that he didn't like. He was in that fight was obviously in Australia, so it was in front of his home crowd. He had that time off. He was sick, and he said he was very emotional going to the fight. And he was very angry. He just wanted to show that like I'm gonna press this guy. I'm not afraid of him. Well, you should be a little bit more afraid of Israel Adesanya because he's great. So this time we will see a more patient Robert Whitaker. We will see a Robert Whitaker that incorporates his BJJ and incorporates his wrestling into the game plan, and that will inherently make the fight closer. I still think Izzy will win the fight. I think that there's a chance for Whitaker to steal a couple rounds early because Whitaker, in the first fight, he was using the Kelvin Gastelum plan because Gastelum fought Izzy to basically what was to some people a draw. They had a very close fight right before Izzy fought Whitaker, and so Whitaker thought, I see a little bit of quit in Izzy. I can just pressure him for 5 rounds and beat him up, and I'm going to be able to land some stuff because Gastelum landed some huge shit on Izzy in that fight, some absolute massive bombs on Izzy. Gave up some bombs in that fight. But what Whitaker didn't realize is that Izzy had improved because of what happened in the Gastelum fight. And so, without using the other things in your wrestling, Izzy was just like, I can just counterpunch you. You're going to be aggressive. I'm just going to make you pay by counterpunching you. And that's how the fight ended. This time, he has seen the young game plan, and he knows that I need to incorporate wrestling and tire Izzy out and keep him on the ground because every second that you're standing up with Israel Adesanya is a second where you are at a disadvantage. And hopefully he knows that now. His ego might have got ahead of him last time, and maybe he thought he was a better striker. Robert Whitaker is a great striker. He's going to be the better striker most times he walks to the octagon. That is not going to be the case on Saturday night. So he's got to really incorporate those other things just to show Izzy different looks and to have, just that split second of making Izzy think can open up something for you that you land, and you can land something nasty on the feet, or you could, get some takedowns and land some good ground and pound. So this will be a closer fight. by definition, just because Robert Whittaker has more than one way to win the fight, I think he's more aware of that than he was the first time. I can't wait, but I still think that Izzy will find a way to get it done. I trust his deep wrestling defense. Even if he gets taken down and loses 1 round or maybe 2 rounds, I don't see how Whittaker is going to be able to do that for 3 rounds. Izzy does have good defensive wrestling. His striking is even better than it was when he fought Whittaker the first time. And I just think, just like you said, that length is so hard to deal with when Izzy is the one jabbing you from 20 feet away. He's landing jabs on you, and there's no way you could exit the zone because you want to land some shit too, but his reach is so much longer than yours. So I think Izzy will get it done, and I'm very excited to see Izzy in person. One of the most creative strikers we've ever seen. I'm excited to see him in person.
Yeah, and like you said, you can't even put yourself, you're already in range because of how long he is, but then you can't really force the issue because he's a great counter puncher and he has more power than you think. I mean, he has a
Yes,
shit
he's a
ton of
skinny guy, but
finishes.
he has power.
So yeah, I think it's a really hard to overcome when someone has that great physical, the thing that you can't get over. And then they're already, skill wise, he's grown so much. He's a great
Mm-hmm.
striker. His takedown defense is getting better. It's going to continue to get better. So it's a hard fight for Whitaker, but I hope that we get at least an entertaining fight because Izzy is running through that division, and there's
Yep.
not a lot for him to do. So
I think that we will get an entertaining fight. I also, if I was putting money on this, would just pick the fight to go the distance. Both these guys have finishes on the record, obviously, but mostly they win by decision. I think I wrote this down somewhere. Okay, maybe I didn't write it down somewhere, but basically they both love decisions. They both have had a lot of decisions in the last 5 to 7 fights. So I would bet this to go the distance. And if I was betting, I might put a little bit of money on Izzy by decision, but I would probably put money on Whitaker by decision just because the odds are better because he's the underdog. I think it's a very close fight. It's going to be entertaining, and that'll be the main event on Saturday. And by the time this fight comes on, I will be high, I will be drunk, I'll be living my best life, and hopefully nobody has called me the N-word, and I don't have to get kicked out of the building.
right,
Please
Joe
pray
Rogan
for
is
me.
going to be pointing at you. But by this time, this fight, I'm going to be complaining and whining about how sleepy I am. Good thing it's in Houston, though,
It's
so it's not
late.
like super late, is it?
It's late. It's late. I think the main card is late, even California time. So it's gonna be late as fuck. Where you at?
Oh, God, it starts at 10, the main card.
10 Eastern. Yep.
Bro, they don't care about me, bro. I can't live like that. And then isn't the Super Bowl the next day?
The Super Bowl is the next day. Although the Super Bowl
Bro,
don't start till the evening, so you got some time to sleep in. Well, the baby not gonna let you do that anyway. But you,
this is awful.
yeah, we gonna be up late on Saturday, bro. We happy y'all tapped in with us yet again. We are excited for 271. I will be in the building. I'll make sure I give you all my thoughts. Hopefully I have a voice. I tend to lose my voice when I go to events, so hopefully I'm not wilding too much and I have a voice so I can record this podcast next week.
Make sure you lose your voice from that and not Rona, because you know them people are not vaccinated and no mask in there, bro.
I'm gonna try to keep it safe. I'm very excited to be in the building, and I'll definitely give you all my experiences and thoughts and all the crazy shit that happened in the building. Hopefully, we have a classic card because I'm gonna be there, and let's enjoy some fights. And we'll be back next week to recap it and then move forward and see who we fight next week.
You're super prop bet.
Oh, thank you. I got a Super Bowl prop bet that can't fail.
I want to hear this.
Currently, the odds for the Cooper Cup's longest reception being 28 yards, you can take the over or the under. In 15 of the last 20 Cooper Cup games, his longest catch has been longer than 28 yards. That is going to cash. Bet that. Mix it with another one of our UFC picks that we just gave y'all. Bet that his longest reception will be over 28 yards or whatever the number is at now, or 27 and a half, whatever it is. Bet the over on that Cooper Cup catch. You remember this when Cooper Cup has a 40-yard catch in this game. You remember I gave you free money on this podcast. Free money.
Don't, because NFL is rigged. Listen, the only thing that has made me want to stop betting ever in my life was NFL. Just those tight lines. Vegas is tripping. I will never touch anything NFL related in my life ever again.
I'm not betting on those. I'm not betting other than that prop. I'm not betting on the game because this playoffs has been insane. It feels like every game comes down to 3 points. Like, well, I don't know. I haven't been watching the whole season, so I don't know who's going to win what. So I'm just going to enjoy the game, but I am betting that prop bet. That's a can't miss prop
Yeah,
brought to you on this podcast. That's what we do.
use your money on the Puppy Bowl. It never,
I
like the
always
Puppy
bet on the
Bowl.
Puppy Bowl.
It never have. I don't feel like there's ever any Siberian Husky puppies.
They need some Huskies in there. We want diverse
I feel like
representation in the
Huskies never.
UFC and
That's
the Puppy
right.
Bowl.
I feel like Huskies never win the dog show. They never get in the Puppy Bowl. So I want some. That's right. I want some representation for my Husky homies.
We happy for y'all tapping in for us. That's all the fights that we got to preview. We look forward to 271. Let us know. Tweet us and tell us what y'all doing for the big day. What y'all cooking. That's really what we want to know. We want to know what y'all eating on the big day. You need to start sending us your UFC menu every UFC fight. We're about to make y'all start doing that because I like to know what y'all be eating to watch UFC. I want to see pictures of all the meat, paws. We want to know what's going on.
Bro, UFC food is like the worst for me because I'm already sleepy. So then I'm like hungry, and then I make like an awful decision at 1 in the morning. Then I pout about it till 3 in the morning. Then I gotta wake up. It's awful. So I'm probably like gonna be down in some gummy worms from the baby at like 2 in the morning watching the fight.
I'm gonna be trying to eat barbecue in the building. If the barbecue looks good, if it don't look respectable, then I'm probably just gonna go with Mexican. But if the barbecue in the building looks respectable, I'm about to be eating barbecue ribs with barbecue sauce all over my fucking face and hands, watching people fight. I'm gonna be living my best life.
Okay, this definitely calling you out. He's gonna say, "Who is that black man with them ribs on his fingers, bro?"
I'll be at the ceremonial weigh-ins. I'll make sure I'm tweeting stuff from the ceremonial weigh-ins. I'm excited about that. And we're going to boo some fighters. I don't know who we're going to boo. There's nobody I particularly hate on the card. But I just feel like I have to join in on booing somebody. So I got to figure out who I'm booing. So I got to figure that out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, y'all. Thank you for tapping in. And we'll be back next week.
Y'all have a great week.